Okay, you're back with the most shadow bad man in the land, Lamar, and I have my two co-hosts, Chad and Lance. Now let's dive right into this subject. You know, it's always good to see somebody get their comeuppance, and with that in mind, I gotta say it's lovely to see the number one stunner take a L. Good old Birdman. Now, according to the source.com, Birdman might be broke and owes 20 million for defaulting on a loan. And it goes on to say clearly someone is not putting respect on baby's name because that may be all that he has left after this case is over. According to Yahoo, Brian Birdman Williams is in a legal battle for his life. He recently had to appear in court to try to stop a creditor from getting money off his music in a huge 20 million legal war. Another website called The Blast has obtained court documents stating that Baby demanded that a judge prohibit creditors from swiping profits made from his recording studio in Florida. In the suit launched by a company called EMG Transfer Agent, Baby is being sued for borrowing a cool 12 million. It is alleged that he defaulted on his loan, and the company, and it says, and the company are seeking. I think they meant is, and the company is seeking 20 million in damages. When he initially took the loan, he put up his Miami mansion as collateral. But Baby, also known as Birdman, believes that he did not scam the company, but they may have scammed him. Now, the judge seems to be siding with EMG and has appointed a receiver to take possession of Birdman's mansion. Receiver currently has control of the mansion and all property inside, but apparently that is not enough. EMG has submitted a court demand for all of the profits made off of songs recorded in the studio that happens to be in the mansion. Wow. Baby is
Mm.
not taking this sitting down. He asserts that the recording studio and those songs made in the studio are not part of the deal. And I'm gonna stop there for the sake of um not using this entire article, you know, for their intellectual property's sake. But it goes on to say that he is worth $80 million. But if that's the case, why is this guy
Right.
having trouble paying 12 million back? You guys have thoughts on this situation?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Who is this company? EMG.
Yeah, it's at EMG. And
They're
it's
wasting. They're wasting the court and the people's resources. Let me tell you why. First of all, they might as well just take that property, take the items in the properties, and run their shaggy asses out of town. Because let me tell you why. The songs that was recorded in that shit wouldn't be worth two dead flies anyway. It ain't even go ahead and get into no continue beef about that. Baby, them ain't putting out nothing. So
right,
just go ahead, take that property and fuck off.
right. You right about that because the last hit I remember this man being behind was those two hits of Young Thugger and Rich Homie Quan. I mean, other than that, I mean, he
Hmm.
was on Cash Money still.
I
Lil
mean,
Chucky.
I don't think you can say that because you don't even know whose songs are these, who are the artists behind these songs. You know, he could have some really talented. It could be Champagne Poppy behind this stuff. This might this might be Champagne Poppy work. How can
Okay,
you?
Man, baby,
maybe.
baby, let me tell you, baby is done. Baby out there looking to bring Silk the Shocker back and all this garbage. That's who in there with him, Silk the Shocker
Well,
and all that kind of shit.
No, but
Ain't
But
nobody
wait a
putting out
minute.
no hits over there.
Remember though. Another source I saw said he's in a relationship with Tony Braxton. She thought that was a come up. So maybe Tony put down some new tracks and so his old woman Keisha Cole. Maybe it
Uh,
might be some R&B
they can't
bangers
save.
in that mansion.
They can't
I
save him.
mean,
They can't
I
save him.
agree. You don't know who these artists are, man. You don't know who they are. Yeah.
So
They
so
can't.
Chad, you don't think Tony Braxton could drum up some hits for a man? Is that what you
I
telling me?
don't think Keisha Cole, Tony Braxton, whoever else he dug up off the trash heap, I don't think none of them can save Baby. I don't think Baby can be saved. I think it's done. If you didn't get it, because everybody have their run, like how Puff did. Look, Ross ain't got no bangers out there now, right? And
Right.
that's what I'm saying. If you don't capitalize, and keep it moving after you had your run, it'd be pretty much over. You striking the lotto and finding the next young NBA young boy or little baby or the baby be rare. I think he's done. I think
But
he's
this
done.
could be
What
this
happened
could
to
be
What happened to Rich Homie Quan? Where's Quan at?
this could
I don't
be
know.
some.
He on the milk cart, and
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
seen
That's what
him.
I'm saying.
I
I
don't
think
know.
he's done.
I don't know about Quan, but this could be some unreleased music from they dynasty. They uh Nicki and Drake, Poppy and
Oh,
so
man,
you know
please.
the
Oh, okay. So you think it could be like the Tupac effect? How Suge Knight kept eating off of Pac years after he was dead. Pac was still coming out with albums to the point where people thought he was alive. You know.
I,
So you
That
I,
was
thinking in
that's
that
that was
situation?
possible.
no,
That was
you just don't know what kind of artist or what kind of sound or kind of music that he have that ain't been released. You know, that might do be some bangers. You can't just
I'm
dismiss
gonna
them.
tell you how you. I'm gonna tell
Now,
you what
I agree.
to do
Now, I
it.
agree. If he got some Tony Braxton unreleased that, I mean, yeah, them people need to take their shabby ass on down the road. Because I don't. But
Tell you.
you,
Let me tell
but
you. This is the biggest clue right here to let you know that what they fighting over, as far as his music, is worthless. Because think about it. If he had these diamonds, these gems, these big hitters in that studio that he made, that would have been dropped before he had to go take long in the first place. He
I
know
mean,
he's
but you
sitting
have
on garbage. Baby can get something released whenever he want. So
who's
you would have
who,
released that
who
before you
got
even got in the hole if you had those hits.
I mean,
Hmm.
I'm from my understanding, I know they need a lot of times to be clearance issues. You know what I mean? Who be behind the songs, who had the right to the song. So that could you don't know what company or who ain't clearing records because all of them, have their own thing. I don't think Baby just, make the final decision. I'm not sure, but them could be the issues at hand. So you can't just, but like I say, them some unreleased hits that they fighting over. You never know. You might have the next God's plan sitting in a
No,
mansion down there in Miami. That's where the mansion was at.
no.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
was there. And speaking of that,
You know
to
who else
add
thinking
to
about
add
something
fuel to the
about this?
fire, a man you mentioned, they call him Rose, the Haitian sensation himself. Rick Ross actually said this is what Birdman gets his karma for him screwing over all his artists in the past. He said instead of going to those banks, he could have asked him for a loan. Ross said he would have gave him a loan, but only if he helped out his homeboys. And then Ross added insult to injury, or further insult, I should say, by saying that he might buy Birdman's house and just use it as a boathouse and only go there once a year just to get on his boats. I mean, that's just to rub it
That,
in. He putting
that,
salt in the wound. So
that
so
brings,
Ross is flexing on Birdman. I didn't know they had that kind of animosity, but he was going in for Wayne because we all know without Lil Wayne, Birdman would have been in the crack house a long time ago.
yeah, yeah. But that brings up the question: do these artists really be having the money that they say they have?
Wow, you know what? I'm glad you brought that up because yeah, it's these people. You think they're living this life, just like your boy with the diamond in his head. He want to be like the Vision, have somebody snatch that diamond out of his head. It's supposed to be a $24 million diamond.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I agree with you. These rappers, most of these rappers, really aren't out here making money like that. And it's just so many examples we could go through over the decades. Now, I mean, even before rap, James Brown said the music industry stole three fortunes from him. So this industry usually just pays the big wigs. The artists who put the hits out there usually get left holding the bag anyway. And I'm using that in the old sense of holding the bag, meaning you getting hung out to dry. Not that you got the bag like you got paid. I mean, yeah, we look at I mean, even people. Your best case scenario in the music industry is to be like MC Hammer. You get the best deal possible when you prove you can move the units yourself, or Easy E. You put your music out yourself at first and prove that you could sell $800,000 worth of music like Hammer did, and then you get the best deal. But then after that, you got to be smart with your money, like Master P. The only artists I seen that from the hip hop industry that are still on top is Master P, the aforementioned Puff Daddy, and everybody's favorite Luciferian, Jehovah. Other than that, these guys are broke.
I would agree, But back to what Birdman was quickly, as far as who can rescue him, maybe he can pull a few of the cobwebs off of Nicki Minaj's crotch and get her out there to strut herself and put some crap out there and dust her off a little bit. Maybe Nicki can save him. Maybe I don't think Drake won't, because Nicki's getting ran out of there by Meg and Cardi anyway. Maybe he could try to salvage something with her, but I think that's probably the only one with enough juice, with a little juice left, that can probably save him, that can probably deal with him, because she needs some help right now too, because she's gonna be right in the same boat as Tony and Keisha Cole, because Nikki pretty much is done. Where's Nikki been? She's on the
Right.
milk carton too. So
Maybe
he
he
could
could
probably chase her
coordinate.
down and pull her up off the trash heap, because she's just sitting around there doing nothing with that convicted felon that she with or whatever. Yeah, she don't have nothing going. So maybe he can get in cahoots with her. But outside of that, yeah, the rest of these guys,
Their
Mr.
career is over, huh?
Vision, yeah, Mr. Vision with the fake Fugazi diamond, and the rest of these guys here, they just out there getting advances, getting them a little jewelry and flash money, and there's no substance or real wealth behind that. I would agree.
Wow, yeah, and to go along with your Nicki Minaj thing, I think the only way she could even come back now, Birdman gonna have to set up a collabo. It's gonna be the all-time satanic collabo. You're gonna need Nicki Minaj and Lil Nas X to work together to get her back in the limelight. You know, she needs to hook up Anaconda Part Two with your boy. I think, cause other than that, there's just I don't. I think Nicki Minaj, like you say, you gotta when you in your prime. You got it's all about timing and spacing out your releases, like how Outkast did. Outkast lasted for almost 2 decades in the rap game because if you notice their pattern, when they came out with a Southern Playalistic Cadillac music, that came out in '92, and then or '93, and then 2 or 3 years later, they come out with AT aliens, but in between that, they're doing features. They're doing stuff to stay in the limelight a little bit, but not oversaturate themselves. You got to be smart in the rap game because if you take too long, the only person I seen take prolonged breaks and come back, but even he can't do it anymore, is LL Cool J. Outside of that, you take too much of a break from the music, and unfortunately, a guy we're going to talk about in the next segment, DMX, was the same way. When DMX was hot, he was the first rapper to have 2 albums come out in the same year. In a 9 month span, it's Dark as Hell is Hot, and then there was X, and or actually was it Flesh of My Flesh? Excuse me. I can't recall whether it was Flesh of My Flesh or then it was, but I think it was Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. This guy went multi-platinum in the same year, which is why he used to boast that he was right up there with Jay-Z. But what did him in
Right.
was the same thing. What did him in was taking too long of a break from the music. Now, and getting into films. Once he got into films more so than the music, it kind of Ja Rule kind of took his gimmick, so to speak. No, shout out. I'm no disrespect to Ja Rule. Shout out. I tip my hat. You made some bangers too. But Ja Rule kind of took his lane with the aggressive yelling rap and kind of took away from his fan base. You know, and he was the first rapper to actually cater it towards women. That the whole thug passion, he took it to all the Ja Rule's hits were just strictly based on that. And so that took DMX's female following. And then as far as the male following, you had the Vanilla Ice of the rap game, Eminem dropped in the early 2000s. So between those two things, that killed DMX. So when you're in this rap game, you got to keep yourself relevant somehow, some way. Other than that, you're going down faster than an old man without Viagra.
Okay, now let me push back on this a little bit. I got to push back here on M. You standing behind that statement that he was the Vanilla
Vanilla
Ice of
Ice
hip
was
hop?
the rap. Oh
Oh
yes.
yeah, I gotta because he did the same thing Vanilla Ice did. He took a genre of music that the Afro American community originated, and somehow he's labeled the king. I've heard too many people say this guy's the greatest rapper of all time, which I'll take anybody to task on that. But that's a subject for another day. But yeah, he has this persona that he's the king of rap, just like Elvis stole Little Richard's gimmick. He took Chuck Berry and Little Richard, and that's how you get an Elvis. And next thing you know, Elvis is the king of rock and roll. But I would dispute that. I had to give it to my man Little Richard. For lot vabaloo baba lot bam boom. That's all I'm
Boom.
standing on that, because and Eminem did the same thing. It's but hey, and no disrespect to him, but I mean you the vanilla ice of the rap game. I'm gonna conclude this segment here because we hit our 15-minute time limit. Stay tuned for the next one.